Posing as a tourist is the only way a foreign journalist can enter Zimbabwe.
Our flight to Harare should take us approximately 1 hour and 25 minutes.
If I get caught, I'll be arrested and deported. But for Zimbabwe's opposition supporters, it's far worse. Dozens of activists have been killed by government security forces since the March election. Others, like Australian Jim Holland, get off comparatively lightly.
Jump in.
I pick him up from a safe house in Harare. The day before, he's been arrested and interrogated for several hours.
What threats were they actually throwing at you?
We will kill you.
Why?
We will kill you if you keep supporting the MDC by allowing their people to stay at your house. Lots of shouting and lots of haranguing about foreign interference. We have really got you now. You are really in trouble. You are going to really suffer as you have never suffered before because of this. Now we can see what you are doing. And it went on like this.
Jim's crime is he's married to the senior opposition politician and Australian resident, Sakai Holland, who's on the run from the police. He's hoping to meet her here at this secret location, another safe house the authorities don't know about.
To call this an election now is a joke. It's a war. It's a war by Mugabe against his people.
Yes, I know that.
Sakai Holland arrives later in the day.
Scallywags.
Yes, go through.
Have you been to the house?
No.
Have you spoken to anyone there?
Yes, I have.
Are they okay?
And the BBC broke the story.
The 65-year-old grandmother is a key figure in the opposition Movement for Democratic Change, the MDC. But it's been impossible for Sakai Holland to campaign in the lead-up to the runoff election.
He'd like you and me at a meeting in Msasa. I'm not coming, Jim is. Yes, so Jim will be there. Jim will be there. Now ring Mbanga and say to him, where are we meeting? Because Jim is coming. He'll support you, yeah. But that's not our problem.
She's decided not to attend a meeting for fear of arrest and torture.
But if they picked you up, what would they do to you?
Oh, they'd torture me, of course. They would torture me. That's what they want to do now, probably kill me.
It seems every movement here is monitored. People are constantly looking over their shoulder. No one is quite sure who to trust. And that's exactly what the Mugabe regime wants. It's created a state of paranoia, making it very difficult for the opposition to campaign against the government.
I only spend 2 nights per place. Anything more than 2 nights, I think the people watching may start to suspect.
By keeping on the move, Sakai Holland has evaded security forces. Unlike the party's leader Morgan Tsvangirai, who's been arrested many times over the past few weeks.
They would like to eliminate Tsvangirai. They really would. Even those numbskulls know. In their stupidity, they know that they cannot touch Tsvangirai. But of course, they can make mincemeat out of people like me. What are we? Just women. Old women, you know. So we can be disposed of. So that's really what they would like to do, to get the people that are perceived to be closest to Tsvangirai, who are making the machine work. That's who they want to eliminate. Yes. And unfortunately, I'm seen in that light.
Sakai Holland hasn't physically recovered from the brutal beating she received last year, which left her with several broken bones. After pressure from Australia, she was evacuated to South Africa for emergency medical treatment.
The man came with a two-headed truncheon and hit 6 times on the leg, 6 times up below the knee, 6 times on the knee, 6 times on the, and 6 times up here. They whipped me and I counted 81 lashes. My body was totally black. I really thought that was the end.
Her sense of humour, however, remained intact.
He is the one who makes me most happy.
And now, a year later, she can laugh about the attack.
So, people who are fit don't survive torture. But people who are fat, F-A-T, like I was, survive torture because they are belting all the fat and the stuff is bouncing off. Related. What do you want to do in there?
Well, I'm just going to do my email.
After 10 months recovering in Australia, Sakai Holland decided against the safe and comfortable retirement that beckoned, opting to return home to contest the March elections.
I made peace with myself that I would be killed on arrival. If they missed me then, I thought when I got taken in as a candidate, because I knew they didn't want me to win the seat.
She was elected a senator in Zimbabwe's parliament.
You know, it's like being on another planet.
Now, as she works the phone, her husband decides to venture back to their home.
So if they can intimidate MPs by getting them out of the country, by locking them up in jail, or even killing them, then that will enable them to achieve their objective, which is to regain control of Parliament. And Sakai is important because she, as a senator, has a number of constituencies within her area, and they want to target those MPs.
The Hollands' home is close by.
As you turn around the corner, just let's have a look and see if there's anyone in the street and see if it looks all clear or not. If it's okay, we'll just pull up at the house. Otherwise, we'll just go straight down.
So anyone loitering would obviously be suspicious.
Okay, go straight down now. Go straight down. Straight ahead. Straight ahead. Straight ahead.
You saw someone?
There's a policeman up the road there, so I don't like the look of that.
With a policeman nearby, Jim Holland decides it's not worth the risk.
There's a vehicle behind us, so I might just keep going.
You just have to suspect the worst at the moment.
We drive instead to a refuge the Hollands have set up for victims of the turmoil. These are the wives and families of political activists who've been forced from their homes and are either missing, on the run, or dead.
This is just the lounge of a small house, and here we currently are having 70 women and children who are refugees from this political violence. It's obviously far from ideal accommodation.
There is no food, there is no vegetables, there is no meat, there is no everything.
Hasn't it come in today?
No.
Many of the women sheltering here say they fled violent supporters of the president and his party, zanu-pf.
So Patricia, what happened to you?
Victimized zanu-pf. Saka zvadaro ndakazongoona kuti ndirambe ndiri kumba nema-injuries andandichinzwa ndobva ndangoti arege ndite sendifambe ndite kune cheche.
And how did you travel?
On
By
foot.
foot.
How far?
It's more than
200. More than 200 kilometers to arrive.
You walked 200 kilometres.
Yes, in 3 days.
In 3 days. They were looking for her husband.
Why?
Her husband was an activist.
Opposition activist.
Yes.
Okay.
We've just got word that the Mugabe regime has banned all food aid distribution, and that's really going to impact the women and children at this centre. Jim Holland now has to work out how he's going to feed these kids.
It leaves us in a very desperate situation. And that's precisely why they have done what they've done, is to make sure that people suffer even further. Because they're never satisfied with just driving people out of their homes and beating them up. They actually want to eliminate the population. So this is what they're doing in practice. They're just killing their own people.
Back on the road, Jim decides to try his home again. The house has become a drop-in centre for the Hollands' many homeless friends.
Why so many big ones? Hello, Sakai. I'm just back home. Everything seems fine here. Is there anything you want me to pick up for you?
Jim Holland is coordinating relief supplies.
Okay. All right.
In a country where essentials are hard to come by, Zimbabweans are relying on the goodwill of people like him.
Right, so apparently some supplies arrived here. I don't know what those are. So let me find out about that.
But for now, he just wants to get back to his wife.
And you're getting tired of life on the run?
I'd love to get back to a more normal life. That's for sure. But we are so close now to seeing the end of this evil regime that no matter what the cost, it's worth putting up with it for now. I mean, what we're experiencing as individuals is just nothing compared to what's happening to many people who've supported the opposition in this country.
We arrive back at the safe house to find Sakai Holland cooking in the dark.
I haven't seen Jim in days. It's really something to celebrate. You know, just being alive today and seeing Jim, that's a big celebration.
Zimbabwe cracks down on opposition rallies before the presidential runoff. This is BBC World News. Welcome.
The next day, it's time for her to move on.
Because this is outrageous behaviour.
She's unsure when she'll see her husband again.
People in Zimbabwe are really in an extraordinarily desperate situation.
Do you feel like a fugitive? It's life on the run, isn't it?
Not really. I don't think it's like a fugitive because we are organising. And I'm getting to know the country. I'm getting to know the people that are really doing the work. And for reconstruction, this is extremely important. There's no time to feel like a fugitive because each place where you arrive, you get a briefing on what people are doing there. And you update and you link them up to what's happening everywhere else. And seeing the new mood is national, that people really are fighting back as a way of saying, in Shona they say, kusiri kufa ndekupi. What is it that you do which will not get you killed? So people are just fighting back. Yes, people need to know about food, Jim. I'm very lucky that I have Jim, who has always been there, and who is convinced, even more than I am, that what we are doing is right.